Good afternoon. It's Tuesday afternoon and it's 4:22. Welcome to the second video of Grizzly Bear Radios. If you like some of the radios we're showing you today, or any of the meters that I told you about before, the Simpson and the triplet, don't be afraid to ring us on 07818 690 412. Today we've got three radios, one of which you've seen before, but they've all got a very central theme. This radio is called a Pilot Puppet. It's battery run, and as you can see, it opens up for you to listen to medium long wave, tuning here, off in volume. And it does work. It's really quite twee, and I guess it's from the 50s, I suspect. But I think it's rather nice. It's got this sort of pattern up, down each side, with I guess you'd call that salmon, wouldn't you? Some might call it pink, but I think it's actually salmon. But it's very unusual, and I think I've not seen another one. Maybe you have, let me know. But I just think it's a very unusual piece of kit. And it was something that they were doing in this period, most of the manufacturers, during that time. And I think it must have been for people in the 50s when they started to really get into using their motor cars and going off for picnics in a big way. It was a start of that big era of motoring, when people went out for the day. I can remember actually in my lifetime, and I'm ancient, people actually going out on a Sunday afternoon for just a drive in the car to see the countryside. And the roads are so busy today, I suspect that is not quite the case anymore. But it used to be. And so you take your radio and listen to the radio during your picnic or whatever. And that was the style that closed up just like that. So there you are, that's number one, that's the Pilot. Number two was a slightly bigger radio, but exactly the same theme. You can see it is what it is. It was designed along exactly the same lines, believe it or not, as the Puppet. And it follows that fashion or that style that was if I can get the back on again, that would be really kind. And I'll show you the front. It's rather grand actually, with bakelite side with its leather cloth, and again it opens up just like that. Controls here which are beautifully made, Murphy. Again, it works. It's a really nice radio, but I hope already you can see the comparison between the Pilot, which was this young teenager, to this rather distinguished lady or gentleman here, in what looks like a frame, and I guess it's designed to look like a frame, on this radio. These are really beautifully made, and you know, just turning it is just a joy. So again, something a bit different, but following that theme. And that big light is really rather nice, as is this big light handle. It's in gorgeous condition, as you can see. It's really nice. That's the old label there from where it was sold. It's just a nice piece of kit. So that's that. And the third one you saw during the last video, but I'll get it out just for comparison, was of course the Roberts. And again, you can see, although this is a slightly earlier radio, there's a common theme. Roberts Radio, RR, a really nice enamel badge saying Roberts Radio. Interestingly, I spoke to somebody today who knows a gentleman who was in the motor trade during the sort of 60s, 70s, and possibly the 80s. and he remembers selling an Aston Martin to the owner of Roberts Radio. So Roberts Radios were obviously very popular and sold well. I dare say that gentleman's long gone. I hope his Aston Martin is still around, but he remembers selling an Aston Martin to the owner of Roberts Radio. So there you are. It's a funny world, isn't it? So that's the Roberts Radio, and I hope you can see there's a really interesting comparison between that style. I don't know why they don't make radios like that anymore, but they don't. But I think it's rather nice, and it is of a period that I'm getting surrounded by radios here of that. So that's, I thought, would be interesting to you to see them, and if you want to talk about them or buy one or whatever, please give us a call on the number that I gave. Now, this is a triplet, and I talked a lot about the fact that these multimeters are the benchmark for the industry, and they really are. They're used right up to the present time in workshops. They don't call them workshops, they call them their shops in America. But they're used right up until today as the benchmark for radios. And if we can take the back off, which I'm sure we can, I'll check it. Yeah, I think we got that one right. Got it. The screws are quite deep in here, so it's potluck if you manage to get it to grip the first time. Not quite, but we're nearly there. And I think you'll be surprised just how beautifully these things are put together. Like really are a work of art. Hold up there, I told you they were long screws, as you were. One more. This one's being obstinate, as always. Yay. Now I think that's a work of art, and is just the way they put them together. And if you compare that, just look at the mechanism in there. Can you see it? How that is made up. It's just a work of art, and way ahead of anything in that period. So when EEV Blog described it as a work of art, I think he was right. I think it is. They're just beautifully made, and they are made to last a lifetime, if not more. They are just great bits of kit, and I really would suggest that you try and buy one. They're not the cheapest multimeter. I keep calling them radios. They're not the cheapest multimeter on the market, but you're paying for quality, and you're paying for something that is up to date, and will go on and on and on and on. Whether it's a Simpson, which this one is over here, or a triplet, that's a question you may ask. I think they're equally good. It is there's great rivalry as to which is the best one. I think they are both extremely good. So, on the next video, we'll take a Simpson apart and you'll see what that is like in comparison. So, America seems to catch what is the quality multimeters. The triplet, as I said, did this one. Biz did this. But if I just show you as a further comparison, if I can, two other. No, that's not it. I'll show you what that is, because it's actually quite interesting. This is the slightly later version of triplet when they went digital. So you obviously get your settings here for whatever you're measuring. It's digital, and I guess that was then moving forward was something that was more portable and could be used. And the reason why I show you that is that Fluke, the other American make, were making something very similar at the same time. And that's the Fluke. Again, switch it on. So that's them moving into digital away from analog. But again, you know, I can't help telling you that the triplet just feels better quality. And a really nice bit of kit. This is a model 3550-A, and this is the Fluke 822B. So I just think they are so far ahead of their time, and a joy to use. So I would encourage you to try them. Until you try them, you won't know. But I think if you read up and look at the videos that appear on YouTube, you'll see these in use wherever they are. They really are amazing bits of kit. What else can I tell you? There's we use other piece of equipment here. We've got the power control unit. This is a signal generator, which helps produce a signal when we're testing some radios. And one of the things that I use more than anything else is this very old British-made Variac. And that means when I plug a radio in that hasn't been on for quite some time, I can set it way down low at 50% of the voltage and bring the power up slowly to check that it's okay. But I hope you've enjoyed looking at the radios today. There's lots more to talk about. We've got lots of other interesting radios. And in the next video, we will show you the Samba working with the Grundig. And I think you'd enjoy that. I think that's good for the news. One last thing before you go. I was thinking today about the fact that I am ancient, and remembering some of the things that was driven into me when I was young that have stayed with me all my life. And there are lots of things, but one of the things in particular I was always taught is that if I was walking down the road with a lady, I would walk on the outside. And I still do that to this day. It's just become second nature. Or indeed, if I was going up the stairs with a lady, you walk behind the lady so that if she slipped you would break or fall. And if you're walking down the stairs with a lady, you walk in front of her for the same reason, should she slip to break a fall. And that, the one that you all would know is probably just opening a door for a lady and letting the lady go through it first. Now that's something that has stayed with me all my life, and I do it even at home. It's become second nature. And I think for whatever reason, those things are beginning to disappear. And I think that's a great shame. I think that doesn't, it's not because women are in any way inferior to men, because they're not. They're every bit equal and probably better in many respects. It was just a way of showing respect, and it was just nice. And I think those values should come back. And I wish young people at school were taught those values, because I think it would make their lives happier and more content. It's way tough being young today, as we know. And I'll tell you a story next time about a 16-year-old I met next time when we have a video. But thanks for watching. Press the subscribe button. Press the bell to be notified when our next video is on. And I hope you press like. That's really important. As I said last time, if you think it's terrible, press the subscribe button anyway, because that really helps us make this be successful. I'm enjoying talking to you. I'm really enthusiastic. I think I could actually be called, if you want a title for where I am in the world of electronics, I would describe myself as saying, got all the gear, but no idea. So there you are. I hope that you'll help me address that title so that it's got all the gear and has some idea. And I would like that in the future, and I hope we can travel together and get that done. So thank you for joining us. I really do hope you're enjoying this. Any ideas of what you'd like to see? I've got a really interesting Sony radio, the 220, which I'd like to show you next time. And we'll maybe look at some of the more modern, but still now highly collectible stuff that is around. So thanks for that. I've got plans to actually start working on some of these radios, and you can go through as I try and fumble through and learn what I'm doing. I will make a video about that. But any suggestions, write in the comments, ring the number. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks a lot, and thanks for listening. Bye.